Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. There was a bit of an issue with the previous uploading of this video. I had some software stuff and I stuffed up the microphone. Look, it is entirely my bad, but we will move on with our lives because if you have been living under a rock or maybe stuck under a bunch of steel, you probably haven't heard that Magneto is being released. So let's jump onto it once I find the button. Woohoo! Magneto! The Magnet King himself. The brutal man of Professor X's best friend and worst friend, or so they say it right here, best and worst enemy. He got announced. We always knew he was coming, but now we've actually got a bit of an understanding of what kind of his character is going to entail. And from reading through it, it is ferocious. I am very excited about this man. I'm probably going to play a lot of Magneto. This character, if you're not sure of the background of him, he considers himself kind of the leader of the Free Mutants. He's always there to protect his brethren, his sisterhood, his kind of his family and friends and things like that, provided they're mutants. That is kind of why he created the Brotherhood and being the leader of that. He will do anything he can to protect those he loves, but that's where it's kind of very morally grey, because the people that he loves are almost predominantly and only mutants. He cares very little for non-mutants, particularly because of the things that they've done in the past to him and to others. He grew up with a very hard life where kind of his abilities were almost forced out of him in very horrendous ways, and he wants to make sure that no other characters ever suffer, or no other mutants ever suffer that type of fate that he did to kind of showcase this. Now, what is Magneto actually doing? What was his involvement here? Well, for those that don't know, by the name of Magneto, he controls magnetism. Anything that can be magnetized, you can control. It's predominantly metals and anything with kind of metal in it. A couple of really renowned things that have metal in it: steel beams, cars, Wolverine, all things with large amounts of metal in them. On top of that, he has his helmet, very predominant helmet that is designed to keep Professor X out of his mind, because Professor X obviously has the ability to control, or mind control, or talk about telepathy and things like that with people. This helmet that we can see right here, not a thing, unfortunately. Doesn't allow that, and that's already represented, they say very quickly here, with his 6 Mystic Defense. The biggest Mystic Defense in the game, I think, is one other that shares 6. And you have to spend, I think it's Enchantress has like 6 defense, or maybe 5 Mystic, and you have to pay 2 power if you wanted to calculate as regular defense for physical and energy based. So huge Mystic Defense. I don't think is a predominant thing, because a lot of the game we see isn't truly Mystic. I think Doctor Strange has a Mystic Attack, but you can also change that to non-Mystic if he's part of the Defenders. MODOK also has a Mystic Attack as well. So not a huge amount, like the big hitting Mystic Attacks, but not a huge amount that do have Mystic Attacks. So it'd be interesting to see how that kind of reflects in his defensive gameplay. I'm hoping, because he kind of throws metal around and bricks and all of that stuff, he'll actually have quite a high physical defense, possibly 4, most likely 3, but I'd like to see him have a 4 physical defense, just because he can defend himself with these kind of bits of metal and push people away with anything metallic on them. And then finally, you got obviously your energy defense, probably to kind of compensate those things. I expect maybe a 2, look, maybe a 3, but probably a 2 in the energy defense, so at least he's got some kind of weakness that you really can access into him. I say a lot of this because I thought in my mind what I expect to see out of Magneto, and these particular kind of terrain pieces you actually see on either side of him are why I think he's such an incredibly powerful character, and he needs a weakness. He needs some kind of predominant weakness other than his threat level, and then I expect that's probably be energy defense, which normally has some decent range on a lot of energy attacks. Normally they're 3+, give or take. So having a good long-range energy attack onto him, I think, is what he's going to be his biggest downfall. But we'll see what happens when the actual card comes out in regards to that. But that is definitely my expectation and guess. And if you have watched the Wolverine / Sabretooth video, which should be up tomorrow, you'll actually see I was correct on a lot of the things that we spoke about those two. So maybe hopefully this one also kind of just continuing on the luck. What else have we got here? Oh, my mouse is actually dying. That's awkward. So what else have we got here? A couple of things here. We have a range 2 attack with 6 strength that costs 5 power. So that's kind of his big attack. Now you think, that's pretty, that's not that good, is it? You know, you look at Thor as an example. He's, 5 threat, has, I think it's 6 power, but it's like 8 dice energy area 2. So you think this isn't actually surprisingly crazy. We've seen it a couple times. However, the interaction with his other ability, Master of Magnetism, this is where he is truly, truly powerful. This attack's called Shrapnel Blast, by the way. And this Master of Magnetism means that at the start of the power phase, if you have less than 2 of these terrain pieces that you can see on either side of Magneto on the field, you can put up to 2. So you have to have a max of 2 pretty much. He then gains power based on how many terrain features are on the field. So out of the ones that he goes. So he's guaranteed 2 power. Depending on if that changes and is instead of his regular power gain, will be interesting to see. But he potentially be gaining 3 power a turn just from having these around. Now, Shrapnel Blast could potentially be a strange kind of builder attack. I don't know if he's going to have a builder attack at all. He might. I honestly expect something similar to Yashuri's of the world, where, you know, he performs an attack at the end of the resolution, he gains a power, or if it dealt damage, he'll simply gain a power. The reason why is because if a building is destroyed, if a terrain piece is destroyed, he then, this is the affiliation ability for Magneto, for the Brotherhood. When a terrain piece feature is destroyed, based on its size, so if it's a size 2, you get 2. If it's a size 3, you get 3. You can distribute to that many characters on the field or allies 1 power. This is huge. I cannot emphasize right now how important this is as an affiliation and how powerful this is as an affiliation. If you haven't watched already, jump back to my old affiliation list, tier list. The 2 S tiers, Avengers and Cabal. And what do those 2 affiliations do? One gives you power, one reduces the cost of power. That's why they're S tier, amongst a couple of things, but that is predominantly why they're in S tier. I immediately expect this to be S tier. Absolutely incredible. Obviously, it's going to be balanced around what characters you can have in the Brotherhood, but with your people like Taskmaster coming in, who's an incredible 3-threat character that fits into any roster. Potentially Winter Soldier, obviously it's a bit of a stretch, but Taskmaster, currently we have Magneto and Toad, Sabretooth as well, already looking very, very potent and powerful. This is huge. This is monumentally massive, because every time you break a feature, not Magneto, I think it's either when one of your allies or when a terrain feature is broken. It's 1 power for each one of them in play. Immense range, we'll go into that in a moment. When a terrain feature is destroyed, a number of Magneto's allies gain equal to its size immediately 1 power. So if it's size 2, two characters get 2 power. Get 1 power. If it's 3 characters get a power, which is huge. This is whenever a terrain feature is destroyed. That's your opponent, that's you, that's your little terrain pieces here, that's big buildings, that's your taco trucks, your Daily Bugle newsstands. All of this stuff gives power to your team, and that is massive. It means that if I'm throwing something at you, you know, that's a power across the whole board. And Magneto can blow these up very readily. So, you know, you're just constantly sharing power all around the field. Absolutely huge. I've said my bit. I won't go too much more into it, but S tier affiliation immediately. Absolutely immediately. Now, why are these also important? And we'll jump back into this, the Shrapnel Blast. The Shrapnel Blast, it was floating around somewhere here. It's a range 2 attack, hits with 6 strength, and costs 5 power to use. Area attack, sorry, so it's everyone in range 2. Now, if either of these 2 pieces of terrain are within range 3 of Magneto, he can measure from them instead and not himself. So at the start of his turn, he could put them on objectives, he can put them in choke points, he can put them right smack in the middle of a fight, and if he's got priority, he can turn around and say, boom, area 2 effect, 5, strength 6 attack, happening right now. And 5 power, that means he can do it turn 2. You know, if he's getting the potentially 3 power in total from these, that's turn 2. He doesn't care. You're fighting over an objective, picking up a point. He's doing so much damage immediately. So this is absolutely crazy, having a supportive nature of those power, and then being able to have a potentially range 5 AoE attack surrounding him. You know, absolutely massive, huge character. I'm expecting. So let's jump into a couple of stats here, because that's pretty much what we've been told so far. I expect maybe a little bit more here and there, maybe a cool passive skill or something like that. But a couple of things. I'm probably expecting 6 health. I don't think it needs to be too much more than that. Maybe on the flip side, he just stays at 6 health. Wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a 7 health into 6 health. The main reason why is because obviously it's probably going to be a size 2, nothing crazy. I expect him to have a medium movement, maybe a small movement. honestly. I know he's got a small base, but a small movement doesn't shock me just because Magneto is never in a rush to do anything. He just moves at his own leisurely pace. I expect him to be probably 6th threat. Again, that affiliation bonus, absolutely huge. Range 5 on his abilities, absolutely huge. Getting 3 power return, absolutely huge. You look at the characters that can do that. Doctor Strange does stuff like that. 6th threat. Ebony Moore does stuff like that. He's 5th threat. It doesn't have an affiliation that blows him out of the water, you know. So I would be very shocked to see him less than 6th threat. I said 4, maybe 3 physical defense. I'd like to see 2 energy defense just because, you know, he needs a weakness somewhere in there. And then he's got his massive 6 Mystique defense on that as well. I don't expect to see too much of a change on the flip side. Maybe on the flip side he gets like a bit angrier and a bit more, maybe less power share. Like even a change of affiliation could be really cool, where he starts dealing more damage based on things being thrown rather than sharing around power. Would be really, really cool. Maybe terrains counts as a size above or something like that. I think would be really, really cool. I expect him to potentially be able to move some people. I think a push or a pull, or like kind of when they get hit by a piece of terrain, they get advance them small away from, or probably throw them small away, or advance them small away from Magneto as well. Something along those lines could be really, really cool. Now, I mean, some synergies involved with him. Anything's possible. Absolutely anything's possible, provided you hit your affiliation bonus with like Wolverine. With Sabretooth and maybe a Taskmaster. What's that? I think Sabretooth's a 4 threat plus a 3 threat. 7 plus a 6 threat, you're at 13. So you've got either another 2, 3, or a 4 threat, depending on what you want to play in there. Anyone can really fit into that role. If you want a beater, if you want an objective capturer, if you want a big defensive tank, anyone that loves eating power, straight into the team. No surprise there at all. So I am very, very excited about Magneto. Really, really pumped up about this character. He's going to be a big, big game changer as well. Similar to Syndicate, they completely changed up the game. I expect Magneto to definitely throw a spanner in the works of just kind of those top-tier Cabals. Definitely giving you a choice now. Do you want to play Cabal for the energy, for the power, or would you rather take Magneto now? Suddenly you can jump into power as well, which I think is, again, really, really exciting. Really, really cool. High threat cost, but again, I'm expecting probably 6. He might get away with 5. Maybe a small movement could drop him down to 5, but I expect him to be around that 6 level. But comment below. Tell me what you think. What are you really excited about? What are your affiliation thoughts already? What are you going to throw into him? What mix are you going to do of characters and stuff like that as well? And don't forget to check out Wolverine and Sabretooth's video tomorrow, going up 1 p.m. as per usual. But I'm going to throw you on to Scott. He's going to tell you how you can check out all our different social medias, as well as please check out our website, generalgames.com.au, where you can actually pre-order all of these products. We're about 20+% off RRP. So Magneto should actually be up there as well. He comes with Toad, so we'll see how kind of Toad associates with that Brotherhood affiliation as well. Be really, really cool, really interesting. But check all that out. My name is Max. I love you all. Stay safe out there, and Scott will tell you how you can check all of us out. See ya.
What's up, everybody? My name is Scott, and if you enjoyed that video, please click on the YouTube thing. You can do the bell and all the notifications. It really helps us a lot, actually. Facebook, one of the most important things for us. It's all our events, our pre-orders, our information, alerts, opening hours, everything you'll find there. And, of course, last but not least, Instagram. It's a bunch of pictures, behind the scenes, all sorts of cool stuff. Thank you all for watching. Check it out next time. Bye.